to you with this video. As you see, the title is Below. And no, this ain't no music in the background. It's legit effing raining where I am. Okay? I did not intend to make a video today. However, I will. Because you see the title is Below. I plan to come back this weekend and give y'all a video, just like I do. But see, I just feel strongly like God was telling me, yeah, you're going to have to share a little more dirty. Why you scared to share it if it ain't your life no more? Tell it, okay? Because maybe somebody listening is probably going through that or been through that. And they embarrassed to talk to other people about it. You know what I'm saying? Because people do judge other people based on what they've dealt with in their past. However, when you do that, there's something eventually going to come up about your past at some point. And I just realized, yeah, I'm like, God, I don't want to share that. But I was led to. So I'm going to share. It's crazy as hell. But I hope you get the message. When I made that video about don't worship your pastor, he's a human too. There's other videos that I'm gonna put pertaining to that, but I feel like that video has something to do with this video. And let me make you understand something. When you put more praise and respect on a pastor's name, if you don't know their life, than you do about going to that person to really get help. Sometimes the people that you're going to for help, they can't help you because they can't even help themselves. And also that video where I made about if God was punishing you for a wrong choice, you know it. So, listen to this. Listen this. Now, what I'm about to say, I've already had this conversation with my twin a while ago, and he was like, damn, I can't believe all that happened to you. I can't believe you went through that. He was like, oh my God, that's terrifying. But look, when they closed the doors of the church during quarantine, a lot of people got panicked and they were like, well, what do we do? And they just felt like, they was mainly the people panicking that always would tell people if they don't go to church, they're going to go to hell. Church is not in a building. It's like-minded people coming together, working on themselves and impacting each other, okay? A support system. It's not a building. Okay, so I had to get that out of the way. Some of y'all people don't understand that these folks that you are lifting up and worshiping, because when you're doing all that much and you take that much of time to come to somebody's defense or their aid because of their title that they carry or how shiny their robe is and the fact that they can play the tambourine and jump around on one foot and say, yeah. I'm going to need you to know something. Stop worshiping your pastor. If you don't know their life, And before I say this, my twin was never a pastor when we met. However, when I went to seminary school, for those of y'all that don't know that, yes, I went to seminary school online. Okay, but it was some things that I saw and some things that was, it was just crazy, okay? And how whenever it's supposed to be about one thing, and then people just turn it into this bragging show or whatever like that. Just, it was crazy. So I left it because for the teacher to say that, how do you understand this and how do you understand that, and it's certain things that you don't tell and certain things you don't break down because you need to keep the people engaged. And I'm thinking to myself, what do you mean? Like, so basically give people a little bit, just enough for them to crawl back to you, like need them to need you type stuff. But then he's like, no, it's about people, going out into the world and using their gifts and doing this and doing that. And it's like, but that's not how it came across, because we had homework to do. Like everybody got their chance to do, like to preach, like I think like during the class stuff like that, it had 3 people had to pick a topic out of the Bible. Like if it's probably 12 people in a class or whatever, but you pick a topic out of the Bible and then you break it down and give a sermon based on that. But it can only be like 10 to 15 minutes. Break it down, not really long. Okay, so yeah, he ended up going and finishing with not like that. But see, my reasons for doing it was I felt like I wanted to make a difference. The same reason he feels like he wanted to do it. Okay? So this video is not geared towards him because this is not the type of pastor that he is. He tells people to get their own relationship with God and stop looking at what somebody look like, thinking they can always come to your aid. He has actually told people that, be like, look, your pastor is human too. It'll be times that you're going to come to me and say, can I get a word of prayer? Like, nah, I'm dealing with my own shit. But he didn't say shit like that. He don't cuss like that. But anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there. But the dirty. So when I'm saying this video, this is not a bash towards all pastors. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't know, if you want to call it a bash, you can call it a bash. You call it whatever the heck you want to. Or just saying like, I'm just pulling the covers off some shit. Okay? Because I told y'all, when I was 27, let me see, I was married to a pastor. I was not supposed to be with that man. I don't go and just look to get up under people's coattails as he was the one pursued me. Been pursuing since I was with my son's daddy before I was even much out that off them papers, but he effing pursued me, you know what I'm saying? And that was thrown off, and the things that aside from the video that I've already spoke about, if God was punishing you for a wrong choice, you know it. If you watch that video, this video is like, I'm gonna say this video is kind of like a part 2 to that. So other things. That man put me through the worst of the worst of the worst hell that you could imagine. All while I'm watching people looking at him, hugging him, speaking in tongues, throwing their head back. It was like, oh God, I feel the spirit on you. Oh man, I feel the spirit on you. You feel a spirit on him, but you ain't feeling the Holy Spirit. Okay, but this motherfucker had enough nerve to be like, oh, you just with me, ride on my coattail, ride on my anointing. No. First of all, you couldn't even feel or discern. So for him to make like I was nothing, anybody that he got with, they had to have something to offer to him. So you sucked off of the gifts that I had, that I did not have no confidence in, and I doubted myself and everything at the time. I would look at somebody, like back then, I would look at somebody and see that they had shit on them. And even while I was fighting through my shit, some things I could still, like, see, I would tell him what was going on with a person. I didn't know how I knew. I can explain how I knew. I told him something a couple times, and then when he'd get in church, he'd be like, over the microphone, with the Spirit of the Lord say, come here, you sister. And I'm like, wait a minute. Did I not just have this conversation with you in the parking lot, what I saw on her? This did not mean for you to say that the Lord told you that this sister dealing with this, or that. Like, he straight up gave me no credit for whatever, made me look like I was some thirsty little young whore that was riding his coattail. Why? Because I always looked pretty in my little clothes that was gifted to me, wearing my red lipstick, keeping my hair done, donations of course, like I told y'all in that video. And it was like, I told you, when I got with that man, everything was down, down, down. And he made it like, oh, when you for God, you're gonna get attacked. And I'm like, but like that though, he was already having issues with living arrangements. Okay, I might have been going through my shit, but I had never for a long time not had my own place to stay. But this man was dealing with a lot of shit, and I didn't know no better. I believed what he told me, and said that, yeah, when you go through stuff, like when you truly rocking with God, you're gonna go through stuff. And it's like this. Yes, you're gonna go through things, but a key indicator that God is not in that mix is when there's no blessings flowing. And I ain't necessarily talking about money. I'm talking about everything else. Like I said in the other video, you know, this dude did, and I'm bringing all this up to say that you better repent right now for praising these pastors when you don't know. Like, stop looking at their outward appearance. You might actually be worshiping a damn demon, and then you wondering why God ain't giving you something that you're asking for. Okay, let me get up for a second and go grab me a can of tea out of the kitchen. So I'm gonna be right back, y'all. Don't go nowhere. Still here. I need some tea. I'm on the way back. Okay, so anyways, like I was saying, I got my Arizona, my big old tall boy, my 23-ounce sweet tea. So anywho, y'all need to repent right now for all of that shit. Yeah, you might go through things, like, if you really got God in your corner, yes, you're going to go through some trials, but some stuff that's happening to you is because of some of the things that you've done to people or somebody that you with. And there's no way to sugarcoat that shit. That man, and this, I'm going to tell y'all like this. don't care how much you think you want to be with somebody or whatever like that. It's like this. My twin and I, we was back and forth in each other's lives for so long. And when he did want to get married, he showed up to my place 2 weeks before I was supposed to get married to the pastor. I would have said, yeah, but you know what? Dude was living in my apartment. It'd been different if he lived somewhere else. I would have broke that motherfucking marriage off right then and there. I'd be like, nope, can't get married. Why? Let's just leave it where it is and call it a quits and say bye-bye. Because when my twin came back and was like, I'm thinking about marriage and this and that, and you know, the pastor was there, like he was in the parking lot. He saw my twin come knock on the door. Because I had been living where I was living for a long time. And I never had no issues with not paying my shit, but I swear the moment that pastor moved in with me before we had our shit, that's when everything around me started going bad. But then he was like, oh, that's just because the anointing I have on my life that attracts attacks. No. You was trying to get me to carry some of your motherfucking karma. That's what the fuck was going on. But shit, it's like the boy who cried wolf thing. It's like 1 minute, you know, I was scared that he wasn't gonna, I felt like he was coming back and then he was gonna leave again. So if I would have felt like I knew it was gonna be for real, and I said, you promise? Shit, whatever, that pastor would have had to find somewhere else to fuck to go. He would have had to find somewhere else to fuck to go. But you live and you learn. And I don't care how much you think somebody wants to tell you, oh, you riding my coattail and you ain't getting nothing other than me. I'm like, first of all, how come my gift's operating and I ain't sitting up under no motherfucking body right now? But God, okay? And got people around me actually, the people that I do have like association with, these people ain't having no fucking cursed things happening to them, okay? When you attach to people and they got a whole bunch of fucking curses just roaming around in their life, that shit at some point will attach to you. Or if somebody is attacking that person and they can't get to the person, they try to go to the next closest thing. So I even be careful of who I associate myself with, okay? But this man done the worst. And I'm saying this because some of y'all, like I said, probably went through this or whatever. But before we got married, we decided that we were going to take AIDS tests together. Now, we don't have to go to the hospital or doctor to do that. Out here in Texas, if you live in Texas, you should know about Be Busy Academy, okay? It's like they do AIDS test parties, or they can drive to your house. You tell them how many tests you need, and it is free, okay? And if there's any other underlying anything, it'll show up in that like a certain color, meaning that you need to go to the doctor and check things out. But thankfully, I was up and up on my well woman checkup, so I had my papers from that. And y'all know how they do. They be like, no news is good news, right? That's how they do when you go get your checkups. If you get a call from a place that you went and got a checkup from, yeah, it's a problem. But anyway, so we decided to have Be Busy Academy come to the house, bring 2 tests, whatever like that, before anything, to make sure, clean bill of health. He would go to the doctor a lot because he has diabetes. And I would just go to the doctor, still was going like checkups, whatever. Or just, because I used to go a whole lot more, but okay, the last time I went was like some months ago when I was feeling some type of way, like with my period and shit like that. Little did I know my body was preparing itself for a blessing. Let's just say it like that. Okay? Now already had one child a long time ago, but yeah, that's another story for another time, or one I might not even just. That's a long ass story. But anyway, so clean bill of health, and yeah, so all of this happens, right? Throughout the whole duration of the marriage, he was still associating with all three of his ex-wives. One he had to associate with because he had a daughter with her. The other two, one considered to be his first love. The second one got strung out on drugs real bad because she know what I was dealing with being with that man. I've met each and every last one of them wives. And he slept with one of these hoes. Not the baby mama, not the ex-wife, not the one before me, but God told you all these women was your wife, right? Okay. So I told y'all the story where he was basically like, yeah, you don't like my attitude, you don't like the stuff that's going on. Well, guess what? He said my twin name too. He was like, but guess what? So and so is actually your real husband in the spirit. That is your real husband. That's the one God wanted you to be with. But ha ha ha, you stuck with me now. And that fucked my head up so bad. I ended up like talking to somebody about it at the church or whatever, and she was like, well, call me if you need whatever. And I was on my way to work one day and I just had a breakdown. I broke down so hard. I was on my way to work. I stopped because I lived close by where I worked, so I could walk there. It was maybe like 10 minutes from the house. So I was it was about 10 or 15, yeah, about 10 or 15 minutes from the house. I was I was in so much pain mentally that I broke, and I called this woman and I was like, I can't take it no more. I feel like this, I feel like that. I can't take it. And I couldn't tell her what was the issue. I could not tell her that my husband just told me that, ha 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 ha, you're stuck with me. So and so is your real husband, and God had already revealed that to me, but you're stuck with me. Like, he knew I was never supposed to be his wife, but he was always saying, yeah, God told me you my wife. You know, don't stop listening to that bullshit, okay? Because God gonna tell it to both of y'all, not one of y'all. Both of y'all gonna know. Both of y'all gonna know. Now, I done grown a lot since then, because I stopped listening to people just because of what they look like or because they are apostle. I don't have to have a freaking title on my name. I know who the fuck I am spiritually. I know, and it took a long time to be like, I know. So I broke down and I told this lady, she's like, where are you at right now? I say, I'm in front of such and such and such, and I was almost to my job. She said, call your job and tell them you ain't gonna make it in today. I was so hysterical. I was crying so hard I could barely breathe. I was just don't care. People was walking past me, whatever, and I was like, I can't take such and such and such. And I told her that he was driving me nuts, but I didn't go into detail what he said, because everybody praised him and basically cursed my name if I tried to go to anybody for help. So I was basically stuck in that shit. I'm telling you, ain't what nobody but God got me out of that bullshit. I'm telling you. But so from there, she ended up having the cops come pick me up and take me to a fucking hospital to get checked out because she was in fear that I would do something to myself. Now, I ain't gonna lie. At that moment, for the fact that I could not stop replaying it over my head, that my husband had told me that's why so-and-so is your real husband, tied to you in the spirit, and you stuck with me, ha ha ha. They literally had to sedate my motherfucking ass, because I couldn't stop saying, God, I'm fucked up, I'm fucked up, I'm fucked up. That's all I could do. I was just crying hard, and at that moment, I looked into that busy street, and something just felt like it just came over me, like I wanted to walk in the middle of motherfucking traffic. I felt that much pain inside. Okay, so you can't tell me being with the wrong person that you okay. If you a divine masculine or divine feminine, and you with a motherfucking karmic, and you sitting there, and you know that shit ain't okay, and you going through all this motherfucking torment. So that's why I felt that when my twin was basically like, there's people out here feeling like this and feel like that. No, it's not. It's people, but what I'm picking up from what you're saying, it's you. So understand that this shit ain't no joke. It's better to look stupid, get called whatever kind of name in the book you gonna get called, than to stay somewhere where your soul is fucking dying and God is literally not gonna help you till you get out of that shit. It's gotta come a time. You gotta decide, is pleasing people better, or living in your truth, being happy, better for you? And I don't think I told nobody in his family what happened. I think one of his sisters, because we became really close, she said, you can talk to me about anything, and I do mean anything, sis. I'm not going to judge you. And she meant that. She took me out on my birthday to Papa Seafood. She said, you get whatever you want. We sat there, we talked, I cried. That was when I revealed to her that I wanted to divorce her brother. And I told her I was sorry that I was leaving the family, whatever. She said, you ain't do nothing to us. There was only 2 people in the family I couldn't fucking stand, and that was him and one of his other sisters. Now, this sister actually had my back, where the other sister was like, you know what? They was calling me all kind of bitches and hoes and sluts and everything, because me wearing my red lipstick, y'all know I love my lipstick. But on top of that, dude was going out there cheating on me with his, couldn't even get his dick up. Went to go get Viagra, talking about, you know, I got a young wife and I just want to please her. Even with the Viagra, it was still nothing. Nothing, okay? So I was in a damn near sexless marriage for like 2 years. Okay? That was not something that I planned for my life. And to make matters worse, he slept with one of his dirty ass ex-wives and came back and gave me a motherfucking STD. Yeah. So just because you married and you with one person, that motherfucker go out there and cheat, do whatever the fuck they wanted. Thankfully, that shit was curable. After that, I ain't never let that motherfucker touch me no more. I slept in the bed with full clothes. He's like, well, I don't like the fact that you come in the bed with these fucking pajama sets on. I don't like that. You wearing a bra to sleep? Yeah, don't touch me, motherfucker. Like, I'm wearing a bra. You're damn right. And he'd be like, yeah, well, and it played over and over and over in my head, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even tell them people where I went. Like, I'm looking around and I'm like, these people up in here are really fucking cray. I just had a motherfucking breakdown. All I wanted to do was talk to somebody, try to get them to understand how I was feeling, and she couldn't talk to me. All she could do was just call somebody to take me and have me on suicide watch. I was 27 motherfucking years old. Mind you, I'm 40 now. When you stay in shit that this dude did so motherfucking much to me while people was praising him, and I'm sharing this story to let y'all know, wake the fuck up. Like, don't sit there and think that because somebody is apostle this or apostle that, and don't you know he got a printout of that doctor diagnosis to put in his paperwork and be like, yeah, you know, in case if anybody asks what happened to me, be like, you know, I was like, but you ran out there and you slept with so-and-so because you called me that ex-wife's name when you were talking to me when you asked me to fix you some coffee in the kitchen. And I looked in that fridge and I seen his insulin bottles in that fridge after he done this shit, and everything in my soul wanted to take them hoes and break them and let this motherfucker just do it out. I was that fucking pissed. I'm like, wait a minute, so you up here doing this to me, doing that to me, trying to harm me, my mental and my physical? And you think I ain't gonna just like want to do you something? Be like, oh no, oh no. So yeah, he did that. And I was like, he said, well, I can't let people think that I did this. I got more to lose than you do. People know who I am. Nobody knows who you are. Damn, exactly. Exactly. So I feel somebody saying, damn right now. Yeah, it was like that. So, and to make matters worse on top of that, I just went along and played crazy because I was that afraid to tell people that I was in love with somebody else and I married the wrong person. That shit tormented me to no end until I got away from him. Then next person I got with looked exactly like my twin, and I just held on to that motherfucker for 7 whole ass years, simply because I felt like if I could not have the real thing, I would settle for a piece. Not so. Not so. Not so. But that one I'll get into on a later date. But this one, saying, doing shit, covering it up. Same woman that he went to, that I had a dream about, the same ex-wife that I had a dream about, that he went to Starbucks with. And I had a dream that they were sitting there with their computers and talking and holding hands or whatever, having breakfast. And then when I woke up from that dream, he unlocked the door a few minutes later when I was sitting down on the couch drinking coffee, and he had me a Danish. It was a Danish or a muffin from Starbucks, and I was like, "Did you go see so and so?" He was like, "How'd you know?" I was like, "I had a dream about it." That's when the motherfucker knew my gifts was real. He knew my gifts was real, and I was like, "Okay, God, I don't want to see nothing, whatever." So he ended up getting me put on so much depression medication that I could not go to work. I was like a mute. Pretty much all I could do was fake it in Bible study, fake it in church, because I had to sing with the praise and worship team, and everywhere he went to preach, I had to go with him and sing with the praise and worship team. Like, if the rest of them wasn't there, it was like being like Pastor so and so and this and that, and people kept telling him, she got a prophetic gift, she got a prophetic gift, and he's like, nah. Like, other people would come and see it and say it. And when it came time for different people to ordain certain folks doing everything like that, they did everybody but skipped over me. Why? These people were in cahoots with him, doing shady shit in the background. But it's not even just that, though. I genuinely wanted to help people, but I was like, okay, he just want to put me like I'm a nothing. But one of his ex-wives, when she low-key talked to me, she was like, he basically strung her out on drugs, because the way he treated her was so bad that she got hooked on drugs. She had a problem before him, and then she stopped because she just felt like he was going to make her happy and all kind of shit like that. She ended up being on drugs really bad. Like, he took over her fucking mind. He took over her fucking whole life and turned it into something else. It's a wonder I'm the only one of the ex-wives that actually got in my right freaking headspace, okay? So once he ended up getting me put on that much medication, like, that shit was burning my stomach, making it to where I would have no emotion. I couldn't hear from God anymore after that. I kept trying to pray. I didn't feel heard, none of that. And I started, like, hiding the medicine. He wanted to see me take it in front of him, so I would swallow it halfway, just so when I opened my mouth and lift my tongue, he couldn't see. But then I brought it back up and spit it out and flushed it down the toilet. Or I would hide it at the top of my lip over my teeth, so when they would test my blood levels, they'd be like, she has a very faint amount of this medication in her. Because I started sneak not taking it, okay? And then my gifts started coming back. Because he noticed that when I was actually taking it, I wasn't getting no dreams. I wasn't dreaming. I wasn't, I was hearing fucking demons, okay? Taking that motherfucking, like, not taking that shit. It was like, I noticed the difference. When I take it, I would hear demonic shit. When I wasn't taking it, I could hear from God. So I know the difference between God and a demon speaking. So he was like, well, they put you on the highest dose that they could put you on, and then they gave me more. And then when he actually watching, like at one point the shit had me dizzy, like doping me up. And then to make matters worse, did all this work to get me put on disability just so he could take my disability check every month and do whatever the fuck he did with it, because I didn't really get to take none of it, hardly. I might had to ask permission to get my nails done. That's why I'm so heck bent on doing my own, getting my, self-care for me. This man fucking did so much, and nobody knows except for me, my twin, and y'all now, because I'm sharing this video just to let you know, when you stay with people you ain't supposed to be with just for the sake of pleasing others, you can go down, 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 down. So you got to decide what's more important. You have to decide what's more important. So all of that shit went on for maybe like a year and a half, and then I was like, look, I'm done. And on top of that, his sister was doing stupid little shit, like he'd tell her, yeah, she on medication, but this, and the third. And the sister was like, cool, la la, cool, la la. I'm like, don't you know that bitch's cancer came back in her body? And that bitch started dropping weight real fast. That bitch still battling that shit. Since the last time I saw her, I think she was somewhere around by my old job where I was working before I went now. And I saw her, and I had to take 2 steps back and just look at her. She waved at me, I waved at her. There was no conversation, and went on by my business. But she did all this shit, so God ended up striking that bitch back with cancer again, after she had been free from that shit for years. And on top of that, her adult son got struck mentally ill. Was not mentally ill. I've been fucking tormented by that man. And everybody he laid hands on to deliver, quote unquote, deliver, like when I told y'all in that video about laying hands on people and doing Reiki when you're not delivered from something. So a lot of times those demons attached to him, and they entered our home and attached to me through intercourse or him touching me. Okay, this shit ain't nothing to play with. And because I was already dealing with trauma, stress, everything that I just refused to work on, it's a wonder I'm still alive today in my right motherfucking mind. So when people be, how can you live by yourself? Baby, every time you look around and you know that you ain't have to be answering to nobody or doing this and that or whatever, it's like, baby, if I ain't loved the right way, bitch, no, I deserve more. And I'm not taking anything less but the best. Because that's what I want for myself. I'm so proud of me. If nobody ever told me they proud of me, well, my best friend told me. But, if nobody else in this world ever told me that they proud of me for whatever, I'm proud of me, dang it. So after all of that, and I just couldn't take it one day, and I was just, while he was sitting there, like I had already told y'all that I used to cook for people through with Bible study or whatever like that, and because I didn't have the money to do it one time, he sat there in a gloating, like almost happy, like, now you gotta tell these people you can't cook for them because you ain't got the money to get the stuff. When I told them, their reaction was totally different than what he thought it was going to be. They filled up that house with groceries for us. They filled up the house with groceries to cook for them when they came for the Bible study, bought drinks, everything, and backed up their cars, just did little things for me. So any little blessing that came and dripped off on him is because people gave to me, because I never asked. Even though I was in all that shit, and I had a friend that I made that was one of his pastor friend's wife, and we were really close, and she basically gave me the strength to leave this man the fuck alone. She was like, hold on. And that's when she told me what all the stuff she was seeing and things that had been off of other people was all over me. And she was like, oh no. And then she started telling me how to anoint my ears to block the voice of the enemy and to hear from God better and this and that. And she told me that medicine, she said, I know you didn't tell me about whatever, but that medicine, she told me what it looked like. And then she was like, no. He's projecting himself onto you. So when I talked to her, I don't know what the heck happened, but I swear it was like she just stepped up and she was there. She was there. And then I got to sharing more things, she shared things with me and I shared things with her. And it's funny, she never looked down on me, even though they gave her title in church, and they never gave me down and just looked at me like, oh, that's that whore, and people would even sneak shot and sneak this and be like, the pastor that married the whore. I'm trying to remember, it's like Gomer, the something prostitute. I don't know the story. I don't know the whole story, but I'm trying to remember, like, where a pastor married a prostitute, like where God told a pastor to marry a prostitute, told a man of God to marry a prostitute. If y'all know the story, I'm gonna have to go back and look at it. But yeah, that was basically their narrative. Okay. So when I left that church, I had church members come knock on my door, which was basically his sister and the daughter-in-law, and then even the pastor wife was getting at me like, you're vital, like your energy is vital to this church. It's like they was basically vamping off of me to get people to come in that church, taking my anointing for themselves while leaving me depleted, just sucking me dry. Like I felt like a hollow ass person with no motherfucking soul. Okay, while I was getting away from all of that and I just broke down, I was like, God, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Just get me the hell up out of this shit. So when I say I left church because people was manipulating me in the name of Jesus, and Jesus that's not even his real name, okay? Like every time I heard, it's like if a dog ever bit you, if a big dog ever bit you, you're gonna be afraid of every big dog you see, right? Okay, that's kind of sort of how it was. So after I think I broke and told somebody, after I talked to my friend about it at the time, we was sitting there, she was praying and she was like, God, bring people into her life that's gonna fight for her and stand up and help her. And it's like, God, I can only do so much, but you can bring other people around to do this, do that. And I promise you, because when I got from, I had to think about it. There was one lady at this place that I had talked to that I had went, and she went to digging, and she found all these jobs, like, because I had to give the disability people all the places that I had worked, see, and they background checked it, all this shit, and then they sent me a letter in the mail stating, you do not qualify. After I've been getting it for like 8 or 9 months and did this shit right behind my husband's back, they said you do not qualify for disability on the grounds of a person that is like you are of stable mind, because you would not be able to hold down a job like this, that. Okay? Certain jobs, mentally unstable motherfuckers just can't do. Okay, so they was like, nah, this shit was botched. Like, he was basically saying, like, when they cut it off, I say, look, I got a letter in the mail, I got a psych evaluation and this and that. They said, bitch, I ain't crazy. No. They was like, no, she just dealing with stress and trauma and heard all the shit that I had dealt with before. They was like, that bitch ain't crazy. Hell no. We gonna take her off of this fucking, that bitch ain't, no. And I could not tell people that I was going through shit and God was whooping my ass because I was married to someone I was not supposed to be married to. But y'all need to get that, understand. So that shit been about 13 years ago. I ain't, I left to go, and look, throughout the whole duration of the 2 years of marriage, we only lived in our own place for 6 months. We've lived with his sister and my brother-in-law. We lived with my parents. We lived with church member and them. We bounced into different people's houses and shit. And I'm like, I can't live like this. Like, I want to be, it's basically like we was two grown-ass motherfucking kids being sponsored by everybody. Do you know, like, seriously, that's the type of curses that dude had on him, because I ain't never been in that worse of shape, not even on my own. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, for what I make, for the type of job that I do, it's like how a person can be making more than me and still be in poverty. I know how to take what I make and make it work, like to pay bills and buy things for myself. Like, actually still got a pair of shoes in the closet. Well, most of the shoes I bought for myself for my birthday, I haven't really worn, but I bought myself cute pair of tennis shoes, and they still in the box. I got them for myself for Christmas, and I still ain't wore them hoes. Like, not yet. And then just whatever. But things is things. I'm just saying, making a point, okay? Like, we couldn't do shit for ourselves. But I'm saying, like, I'm gonna need y'all to get it, understand. Y'all don't know what these people be dealing with. Some of these pastors be laying hands on folks and then smacking their wives around at night. Or some of these wives be trying to stab their husbands in their back, being like, you stuck with me, you gonna keep me, whatever, and we got kids. Let me tell you something. A baby is not gonna stay a baby forever. Okay? Children do not stay children forever. There's only so long you can use a baby against a dude. That shit is played out. And even if you do get to keep a person that you threatened to stay with you, is it still worth it, even though you know they don't love you and that they in love with somebody else, especially when you went and had your organizations that you're affiliated with check into that, and you went to numerous tarot readers and numerous practitioners to try to do work on me, karmic, and try to do work on him while sitting over here breaking all shit. And anyway, the more stuff you break off of yourself, it makes your gift stronger to where you can do it for somebody else. So if somebody else is laying hands on something, look, I already know I'm gonna be in an arena where I'm gonna have to help set some folks free. But first of all, when things come up, for you to get them out and speak them out and clear them out and use it as a lesson or something to teach someone, that gives you that much more strength, sharpens your gifts more. Because by you saying what you overcame, you slapping the devil in his face to remind him of his failures. Because he sure in the fuck been doing that to you, right? Remind him of his failures. hope now. I believe in love. I can hear God. All of that good stuff. And I know my twin loves me. And I know that I love him. And I know that the things that I went through and the things that he went through is just going to make us stronger together. Okay? Just because you have a gift inside of you. Everybody be like, oh, they called. That does not mean everybody is supposed to be inside of a church house preaching. Sometimes, some of y'all might have to get some non-profit organizations started to raise money to get homeless people rehabilitated off the street. Find out how they got there, what's going on. Work on a strategy to get them out of that. You know what I mean? Or starting a food pantry to help people, cooking, doing whatever you can, just, donating, going in your closet, taking clothes that you no longer wear and giving them to somebody on the street that look like they need it, buying them something to eat, showing them to where their shelter is. See, everybody want to be on a pulpit, but nobody want to go and do shit. Wasn't trying to rhyme, but that's what it is. And I know what God got planned for me. Sometimes people will see you dressed up toting the Bible and they think, I've been hurt by the church, so no thank you. I'm not whatever. The things that the church told you is evil, like not to do this and not to do that. And you know why? And people be like, don't seek out mediums. Why the Bible say not to seek out mediums? I'm about to fuck your head up real quick. Don't seek them out. Let God send one to you. People say, oh, no, look. Person with the title prophetess or prophet or whatever like that, those are a medium. They are the medium between God and those who can't reach God or feel like they can't reach God, okay? They're the ones that help bring people to God, okay? So when it says not to seek out a medium, that means don't go looking. Let me tell you what happens when you go looking for somebody to tell you what you want to hear. See, the devil can get all up in them, and because the devil know your desires just like God know your desires. And a lot of times people will warp something and tell you what you want to hear, and it don't never manifest, but they just stroking your ego a little bit. See, when God sends one to talk to you, they're gonna answer the questions that only you prayed to God and nobody know but you and God. So they're going to confirm what God has told you. But when you seek out people, or like watching a shit ton of tarot readings that don't, apply, because you got some people readings that do resonate, and then you got some people, look, it's been revealed to me when I watched a couple of particular readers before, not to watch them, because the messages that they're giving out is for them. And you could tell by what's going on in the background. And that's all that I'm going to say. You could just tell by the tone of voice, by the things that's going on. You could just tell. It gotta be like, this is this person's situations, because everybody is not in a situation where their twin is going crazy and wanting to kill them. That is not your twin. If someone is going crazy trying to kill you, that is not your twin flame. Your twin flame is not going to try to have sex with you and put a hit out on your life, okay? They're not going to do that. Or one coming back saying, I did this to this person, I did that to that person. They're not going to come back and try to take you for your money. They're not going to try to come back they're not going to come back with bad motives. And some people just deciding that they just going to jump off the journey and be like, well, I don't think it ever existed. Oh, no, 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 no. Yes, it does. When you actually a real twin flame, there is no getting away from that shit. Okay? You might have a high level soulmate come in if that's what you choose, because your person decided to stay with somebody that's, you know, damn near putting them in harm's way every day, and they care so much about their image. God will recompense you for that, and that person just gonna stay stuck in that fucked up headspace should they choose to be there. Like I told y'all, when I chose to stay in my fucked up situation, God ain't do nothing, okay? How bad do you want peace? How bad do you want peace? Decide and do whatever you have to do to get it. So with that being said, excuse the long video, but I hope you picked up something from this video that's going to provoke you to think and understand. Okay? That you matter. Your destiny matters, and you prolong your destiny trying to please other people and praising people